Hello everyone, welcome to this week's video, and this one's just going to be a quick one. I've just gotten a lot of questions lately on how exactly I've actually done my rear boot door table, so just going to go over a few things with it and tell you how I did it really. So let's jump right into what it is, where I got it from, how to actually install it, so let's do that. Alright, so I thought before I would actually go into a lot of the details and stuff, I'll actually just pull the whole panel off, that way I can better illustrate exactly how I've got everything going here. So as you can see there, I've got this little elastic sort of hold down thing. Got them from Bunnings, like, I don't know, $12 or something I think for a pack of a couple of them. And then when it comes to the actual hinges, we've just got normal cupboard style hinges, again from Bunnings. And just to show you on the back that there's no funny business, I've literally just screwed, as you can see, that's where the screws go in the back there, same as down the bottom, where are we, right there. So yeah, there's no other support apart from pretty much just the structural integrity of the back of the little plastic thingo. So what else can I show you? I'm missing a clip from that, I just noticed. Anyway, all the mounts and whatnot, literally just screwed through, nothing fancy. Obviously don't use too long a screw because you're going to end up going through like your washer, sprayer hose and brake line stuff, and brake light wiring and all that, and your rear demister. So the only thing that really holds this whole thing together is the plastic, or the plastic trim. So just make sure all your clips and stuff are in place, because if they're all in place, then you're going to actually have some better integrity, things like that. So especially for you know, putting heavy stuff on there, not that I would overload it too much, but I don't know, I've put about 5 kilos on that before and it didn't really budge. So anyway, let me get this panel back on and we can then sort of open it up and have a look at it. Ignore all of my wiring, this is for a bunch of other stuff that I've installed, reverse camera being one of them, another one being the lighting now I have in the back, but that is for a different video. Anyway, I'm going to pop this boot door trim back on and then we can deploy the table and I can go over a few more things. Alright, so got the door card back on. Now we can go over a few more things. So obviously got this little hockey strap bit. Now you don't need to go to the length I have where you make a little wooden table bit for it. I just did this because it is a real pain to clean this carpet. As you can see, the carpet likes to hide a lot of things, and that is quite annoying when you're doing food prep or trying to cook with a gas cooker or something. I've always had a bit of a sort of a fear of melting the thing, so I ended up just getting some plywood and got this stuff from Bunnings, which is, yeah, there we go, satin clear from Timber Protect. Stuff actually works really well, and yeah, it's just kind of sealed it, made it nice looking. So yeah, as I was showing you on the back of the door, got these screwed in. There's nothing fancy behind them, and to do this install you don't even need to take the door card off, which is the best part. Alright, so quickly, one thing I actually forgot to mention was this table is not exactly flat, as you can probably see from the gap from top of this to that and this to that there. It is actually on an angle. And the reason I've done that is the boot door is actually on an angle. So to get this to be as flat as I can, obviously it does depend on whether your vehicle is actually parked on flat ground, but to get it as good and as flat as I can whilst the car is sitting, well, in the garage on flat ground, I've pretty much put it at a bit of an angle. So obviously the front side here, being that that door is angled a bit up from the way it opens from the car, that end sits a bit lower, and then that end down there sits a bit higher, and it pretty much comes out to be not super duper flat. We crack my little level, there we go. So like, I don't know what it is, let's have a gander. Yeah, 2 or 3 degrees is what it's currently sitting at. My phone is not the most accurate thing in the world, but 3 degrees is a lot better than the, come on. Oh, keeps wanting to turn the torch on. So the back door is at like 5 or something like that. Anyway, yeah, I don't know how to use this bloody app, but anyway, just thought I'd mention that. So yeah, definitely get a bubble level or your phone or whatever, get it flat, mark your holes, then drill it. That way you won't have stuff rolling off when you get to camp. Also, when you do that, make sure you shorten your rope on one or the other side. For me, I didn't think about that until it was too late, so I just drilled this one, or screwed that one in higher than it is over here, just to make up that little bit of distance. And yeah. Alright, so let's talk about a few other things. So obviously where those hinges go, so they bolt just directly into the back of it. Nothing really, I don't know, all that fancy about that. And then I've got these little bits of like felt up here, because where I've got these little anchor points for the rope, that is going to eventually rub through, and I think it actually started to do that on one of these sides, hence why I put this little bit of felt here. But a bit of that on both sides, and now these screws no longer are an issue when it comes to rubbing through the actual plastics. But now, the little rope sort of things I've made here, I don't quite know what these are called. I call them sort of like trim anchor point things. I just had a bunch of these laying around. I think I bought a pack, one of my old Nissan Pulsars, like 10-15 years ago. So yeah, pretty much I've got these little clips, or whatever they're called. So I stuck the rope through that, and then what I did was I clamped it in a set of vice clamps, and then I got a blowtorch, and I just sort of got it like a little hot, not red hot obviously. I got it to the point where the rope sort of, I wouldn't say liquefied, but it certainly melted, and it pretty much made a perfect surface in there. So when it melts, it squishes outwards, which obviously if it's squishing outwards, it's going to be square or rectangular, which isn't going to come back through that little hole. So that alone was pretty good. And then obviously the screw going through the center of it also helps to keep the rope there, and it also keeps tension on that little thing because it pulls it together. And yeah, essentially to get the screw through without destroying the melted rope that I just put in. So I got like, say, one of these little pick tools here. Pretty much just use my little propane torch or a lighter or whatever you got. I got the end of this glowing pretty red hot, and then all I did was I've gone in and poked through the melted part of the rope that was already squished in this, and that made a great little hole. And yeah, pretty much just sunk the screw right through that, and repeated that on all of the attachments. So yeah, it's honestly, it's pretty straightforward, not too difficult, but it's certainly something you could do in an Arvo. For me, I did this for free because I already had the rope, I already had the, you know, nuts and bolts and parts and bits and things. Especially if you're like me, you like to hoard nuts and bolts and other things like that. So for me, this was free, but to be honest, I reckon you could do this for maybe 20, 30 bucks or something like that. I don't know, I'll pop some prices up on the screen that I can find for an equivalent thing, but obviously minus the wood part. Yeah, honestly, like it's nice and sturdy. I've put anything up here from like gas burners, gas cookers, whatever, to my laptop, to my power station, to pretty much everything in between, and it's never really given me an issue. I've always been sort of concerned about these little rope things that I've made, but to be honest, I have never ever had any problems with the rope coming out or anything like that. But that's it, I just don't overload this. Keeping the weight as far back as possible is great, because then you're sort of putting the load on these hinges and not so much on the little rope holder things. So keeping the weight further back is good, and I can't even remember how long I've had this on here for, but it's been flawless. Quite surprising, to be honest, since it was just something that I threw together, because there just doesn't seem to be an aftermarket scene for the Grand Vitaras like there is for the Jimneys. Because with the Jimneys, you can just go out and buy, you know, a whole big metal thing that bolts into the back door and it's all whiz bang flash and whatnot. But this, I like it just because I threw it together, and just kind of thought I'd make this video because I do get like a lot of questions on like, where did I buy it, or what is it, or where do I get it from, or how did I make that, and all that. So just thought I'd make this little video just to sort of show you how I did it. And yeah, for me it was free. If you've got a big parts bin of bolts, nuts and retainers and things like that, I'm sure you can probably do it for free as well. Obviously, if you don't have like a rear boot, like custom setup, you probably don't want to use your own false floor, because you probably need that. Just go to the wreckers, find another one of these little false floors from a Vitara that hasn't been ran into from behind, and you pretty much do the exact same thing, really. And like even the screws and stuff I used aren't fancy at all. They're just self-tapping, zinc-coated screws for the most part, and then I've got a few like black screws just getting around just to, I don't know, make it look a little bit nicer. But they also were a really good aggressive thread, and they weren't too long. Yeah, that pretty much concludes the video, really. So just a nice brief video for this week. I am actually working on a review for this hardcore 300 watt Van 4 stubborn, but I'm not quite done with it yet. If you found this video helpful or informative, or just, you know, good to give inspiration for your own ideas for your own vehicle, even if it's not a Grand Vitara, you know, this applies to, you know, a lot of other vehicles out there. Definitely like, share, subscribe. I would greatly appreciate a subscription, because I believe at the moment we're at 945 subs, so very close to that 1,000. And yeah, that would be bloody lovely. But anyway, I hope for the people who are curious as to how I did this, hope this video clears that up for you. And yeah, anyway, I'll catch you in the next video. Got any questions, leave them down below, and yeah, catch you around.